Hi, this is Catherine Rose. I'm with Brilliant Geek here at SPIEL 2018. I'm joined by Stefan Maltz from DLP Games, and he's here to talk about Valparaíso. So please tell me about this game.
Hi, yes.
It's a fantastic board. It really deals with this art.
I like it. Michael is always doing his magic with this pen. It's fantastic. Valparaíso is basically an advanced planning game.
Okay.
This is one of our favorite types of games, so this is what we develop. You have a set of actions and you plan ahead each round what you want to do. You place those cards above and below and beside your board.
Right, like this?
Yes, like this. And you have several slots that you can put cards on. Usually you have those 4 spots available for each round, and you can unlock a 5th slot by building houses, and you have another optional slot that costs money each round. The main difference in this game to our other planning games is you don't have to stick to your planning 100%. So you can change the order of the cards later for a small penalty. Maybe if you see by looking at the other players' cards, you have to take one action earlier than you thought. You can pay some money to move it forward. And
I see there's a cost here.
Yeah, there's a cost of 3 pesos in this case. If you want to use that action first, you have to pay 3 pesos.
And then you would then place it
essentially
like so?
That, yes, correct. And the other thing is, if you cannot perform your main action, you always have an alternate action that brings you a resource or money or something like that.
So something you can do even though you're being blocked by someone else.
It's a quite forgiving game, but it's still a very interactive game. Whatever you do, something changes for everyone.
Okay.
It's not like you take something away from somebody or you destroy something, but you change trading options, you change prices, you change availability. So the planning on the one hand and the interaction on the other hand builds quite a tension. And for those players who like even more tension, we have an optional variant of the game with an hourglass.
Okay.
So this is strictly optional. Some gaming rounds like being on time.
Yeah.
They use the hourglass and the others play without. Both works fine. And usually it doesn't really change the playing time, but the playing feel.
Okay.
It's just a different feeling if you have to watch for the time. The main game mechanics are, well, you usually know them.
Yeah.
It's moving around the board. You move to different spaces.
Each space will have its own.
Each space has its own function. You can build houses on different locations that have different functions for you and different penalties for others. So, for example, if I build a trading house here, it brings me a victory point immediately. It brings me a better trading possibility, and every other player has to pay me for being allowed to trade there.
Aha.
So it's just a small action, but it changes everything a little bit.
Right. And so each thing on the board is going to have that small change.
Yes, right. Like if you trade, this is the trading option you choose. In this case, you get some resources and some money. And once this action was used, it comes to the reserve space and another one moves in. So again, something has changed. Every following player has a different set of options. This game plays in about an hour.
Okay, so nice medium game.
The first round, or if you're 5 players, you could expect 90 minutes. But if you have 4 experienced players, we usually play it in an hour.
Fantastic. And you said up to 5 players, is that correct?
Up to 5 players, that's correct. It plays with 2 up to 5 players. So we have 2 sides of the board, one for 2 and 3 players to be a more narrow environment, and one for 4 and 5 players with a little more space. But you will still see that you always get into each other's way.
Fantastic. So a new advanced planning game from DLP Games, that is Valparaíso.